That's where I Daddy, we left in the dream, captain in the field. I'm Madrid like Champions League. Every 25 hits, even the only field. Man, I better be road like a Ferrari. We got a contest, I said I love of the tweet. Create my own leagues, and off we compete.
Running although here's Canapri, he's on a hat-trick and he's in!
This is Corner Flag Talk.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Corner Flag Talk podcast. I'm here as always with my co-host Virgil, which was good.
Hi there, I just
As you guys will know, some of you guys will be watching this on Tuesday. Other guys will be here on the live with us. Thank you guys so much for joining. Feel free to share it with your friends, your partners. So far, the most we had on as a single time so far was like 15. Did we get cross that?
Nah, more than that. I think we had 26 the first time.
Hey, this is a big weekend football log. If you know everybody could just share it with somebody, let me get the numbers growing, let me get the live bill. You see, I don't want to start somewhere and it look like because, yeah boy, he's an Arsenal fan boy. That's why we started.
Hey, it's a football show.
And the truth is, dog, is that if you know me, you know, dog, I really like to try and stay out of my fan bag, dog. We on the show, I try my utmost best, even if sometimes I may not, I try my utmost best to stay unbiased and to stay neutral. However, though, after a week where we just beat the newly crowned champions in Liverpool and the former champions in Man City, dog, it's so hard not to be my. Here's how I weigh in this, dog. I'm not what's the circumstances. I will not wear a kit, dog, on the show, but I couldn't help myself.
Hey, that's the best for the start, man. That's the best for the start.
So Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal, defeated Liverpool during the week in a very, very gritty, backs to the walls performance, and then in the FA Cup semi-finals against the reigning champions, reigning holders, Manchester City, put on a really good counter-attacking performance against them to also win 2-0. And look, man, I was telling Rog this week that with the exception of 6 men maybe, Leno, Orba, Tierney, Saka, Pepe, and Saliba coming in, now we could sell everybody else in the squad. Sell everybody. That don't matter to me. No. It's just a drive on my point now. Not that these players are not good, right? But you see, Arteta, dog, that is the man I care about the most, dog. This is a real full circle kind of moment now. In the sense that, we played Manchester City on the first day of the restart. And you as a City fan could say that until, a lot of injuries happened, I think the game was real end-to-end. And Arsenal were not dominating the ball, pressuring the goal, but they were in it. And then, Xhaka came off after like 3-5 minutes. Then Mari came off. And then Luis had to come on. And his blunders led to the first 2 goals and a red card. And no manager, I don't care how experienced they are, could cater for 2 injuries. One of the most experienced when they squad to be playing a blinder and to give away a penalty and a red card. Nobody could expect that, right? And since then, he lost to Brighton at the weekend, where more individual errors was the cause of it. And losing his keeper, who was arguably, top 2 keepers in the league this year, top 1, depending on who you talk to. I think top 2, I think Alisson is the best. And nobody could cater for them thing. Since then, he's beaten Southampton, beaten Sheffield, beaten Wolves, beaten Norwich, and maybe somebody else. Drew to Leicester with an unlucky red card and a goal that we have all seen. Offside a lot of times. Then lost the Spurs where, the fellas then basically inflicted damage on themselves. And what I get at is that, and then obviously this week happened, and the results have been tremendously positive under him. And you have seen that with the players with the limited skill set that he has, that there is something building. And what I've also liked about him is that in every press conference afterwards, they keep asking him, so what's the plans for the summer? He's like, yes, we have to invest. There is no option. There is need to go out there and buy recruitments. And it's not like the kind of line where, hear from John Wayne before and definitely under Emery and other managers, not just Arsenal, that, well, we look for opportunities in the window and this, that. He's saying, no, we have to go out there. And I like that he's putting pressure on the board to do something on the owners. And all this culminated in the good return we had to football, and I definitely think that there's something special with him, you know. And you see tactical flexibility with him, you know. On the opening 2 days that we lost, he used 2-4-3-3s, which I actually think long term is probably his plan to use, you know. Something that he'd have picked up from Pep. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we've seen similar to City. He readjusted, realized there are limitations in his squad, switched to this back three that alternates between a back three and a back five during games. And you've seen that now that people spoke about him before having. And this was a really, really good performance against City. Against Liverpool, there was a lot more luck involved in it. I'll definitely say that. I think I'll have to do with, you know, Liverpool point out the A side and Arsenal being 5 changes on the day. Against City was away more by inside.
Liverpool and Arsenal completely switched that entire game.
Yeah.
Liverpool play like Arsenal for that game.
Yeah. and then it was a lot more of the attacking on against City as in controlling the game outside of possession and in possession hitting them on the break. And there was a lot to learn from. There was a lot to be encouraged about from it. As of that game, this season alone, not even after the previous seasons, no, I'm talking plenty. This season alone, has at least one goal contribution against each of the big six, and that doesn't even include his goals against teams like Leicester and Wolves and others like that. And you know, there has been this rhetoric that, you know, he doesn't show up against the big teams, and I think that he has gone some way in proving that isn't right. You know, there's 2 goals in a semi-final against again Manchester City. You know, last year, even last year, he had goals against Spurs, goals against Man United last year. He had a hat-trick in Europa League semi-finals last year, and another goal in the other leg. And I think that, yes, he might be 29, somewhere around there, right? But dog, whatever contract he wants, dog, give it to him. You know, he seems like somebody who's defying a typical footballer's anatomy, you know. In 12 years of professional football, Virgil, he's missed 12 days of football. 12 days in 12 years. That is ridiculous. That is unheard of, you know. And he doesn't look like he's slowing down. He doesn't look like he's losing any bit of pace or anything like that. So, sign him up, you know.
Wait, how old is?
I believe 30 or 31.
Yeah, I think that age will come to my head. But, you know, that's your team. So, everything I know you understand, everything that went on. But the first thing I will say from a football fan on the outside, I always praise Arteta. Yeah. And when we lost Arteta, everybody saw that as, okay, like a big step for him. He's stepping out of Pep's shadow. Yeah. But I always saw that as a big loss for us, because men don't know much that go on behind the scenes. Everybody know that, okay, you focus on Pep and what he doing. Many of our set play improvements, look at our players like when Delv slotted into left back, look at Zinchenko, how we adapted, Sterling's finishing. All that was down to Arteta. All that was because Arteta have attention to the details. Yeah, Pep been doing it so long, but he needed somebody like Arteta to challenge him, and just, you know, any little mistake that he left out, Arteta would just always look at the details and fix everything. Since Arteta left, we haven't been looking as sharp before. We brought in our new assistant manager, and things have been good, but Arteta had a little spark there, and that's what I always say to Arsenal fans. Is Arteta, Aubameyang, and Lacazette, them are the people that Arsenal need to keep. And we know that from the history of Arsenal club with Wenger there. We know the board is be like the manager versus the board, and all that is going on in the club. But it would be difficult for him to get the players he wants, obviously. Yeah. But he need backing. If Arteta get the players he wants, and you're seeing it right now, what he's doing right now, he's doing it with a side that he just inherited. Yeah. This is not his touch. We know from the beginning of the season, and you see his emphasis on playing the young players, because you need players like in the City side. You need runners. You have to understand. You have to be up and down. You have to do that intensity, and he know you get out to young players. So it's like players like Aubameyang you mentioned. Aubameyang been doing that. Aubameyang not losing any pace. You see in the little things, the little mistakes that happen in the first game, where you see Willock missing the little final pass. Mm-hmm. You see how Saka playing now. Saka doing like how Liverpool fullbacks is play, getting more involved in attack. All those things that we want to do in City. Yeah. But remember, with City compared to Arsenal have more wiggle room to try something new. Arteta couldn't try anything new with us. If Arteta try anything and bring an idea to the front, and it failed, it'd be a big L take because we pushing for a title.
Yeah.
But now that he there in this club where he could actually play around and use the youth players, get the backing, get the players he want. Right now, Arteta could just carry this club to a whole different level that there wasn't. It's like, remember real clubs right now going under a rebuild?
No, I agree, you know, and I think that a lot of teams right now are looking to younger coaches, you know. Yeah. Look at some of the coaches that have been doing really well in the league this year. You know, we're looking at Ole, who's carrying United to a fourth place finish, or looking like, that he would carry them to a fourth place. Frank Lampard, you know, the two of them just went head to head, and Frank just wanted to reach the finals of the FA Cup as well. Arteta, these are just so many names across Europe, you know. Look, Hansel Flick was a caretaker, very raw, and now he's hot by and looking at arguably the best team in Europe, you know. Okay,
and you have clear example in Nagelsmann too.
And yes, definitely. And you know, just to touch on what you were saying about getting players bought in, you know, Virgil, and I think that is the biggest difference between him, late Wenger, and definitely at Emery. You know, with Emery, I to this day still don't really understand what was his philosophy, because I generally just don't think that there was one. I don't, right?
Yeah.
At least I don't think that he has a philosophy that could be used at this level. Ironically, he just in coming days, it's supposed to be announced that he signed up for Villarreal. Yeah, I'd love for them. But yeah. The players are 1,000% bought into what he is trying to do, dog. And that is the biggest difference for me, because under Emery, it was okay not to be bought in. As in, not okay to Emery, but it was okay amongst the players because everybody had questions over what he wanted. Right now, if you're not bought into what Arteta wants, everybody's like, well, yeah, dog, well, hard luck for you, you know. You could just stand out on the side. Even players who not necessarily were happy with the roles they were given. Best example is Ainsley Maitland-Niles has said over and over and over, I don't want to play fullback. Dog, this man coming on, dog, playing fullback and playing like a champion. Look how good he played against Mahrez, who I definitely is one of the best wingers in the league and one of the best in Europe, dog. And had him on there's luck, except for like the one moment where he get his shot off, dog. But it was great.
Because, of course, from there, that's the only weakness I saw the day before the game, you know. And I was just thinking of lineups I could have won. Arsenal playing three in the back and having the fullback, the wide fullbacks. Yeah. If he had those wide fullbacks focus more on attack, it'll be easy for us to hit them on the counter.
Yeah.
Put Mahrez up against anybody in the tree, put it draw them out position. Yeah. That's gonna be easy. But I was surprised when I saw those fullbacks, even Tierney, the way that they just bombing up and down the wing, coming back. And like for that, the second goal, that was a clear example.
Yeah,
Tierney stay there, he hold it. If they lose the ball there, he there to cover. But you see, he see the run there, he hits it over one time. So you're seeing the idea that Arteta trying to do it coming out there, and people think and I know this because I've been watching a lot of the behind the scenes that we used to go on in Man City. Yeah. But you think Arteta just there to just follow what's going on?
Nah. Andrew, how do you joke that Arsenal hired the man who used to support the codes for Pep?
Dog. Arteta's a mercenary, you know.
But I think, Virgil, you bring up like a very valid point there about the backroom stuff. And I'll say this about Arteta. I think he's a really fantastic defensive coach. Like the way that he's improved our structure defensively and the players themselves has been really good. You know, I think if we could bring somebody on his staff that could probably tweak a little bit. Now, I know that that Raheem and Leroy Sané does attribute a lot of the success to him. I know that, right? But I think like if he could get somebody who could help him more on the attacking side, would be kind of good. But there was this question online from one of those Arsenal fan pages asking people, so given the performances we've seen since he restarted, a lot of players who you probably wasn't the biggest fans of have had good games. And would you say that this changes your perception on them, or should they still go? And, my answer to that, I mean, that falls into the category of, like, a number of players, You look at players like Kolasinac, definitely. Yeah, he had to go for sure. But players who more questionable, like Mustafi and Lacazette, who, especially this dog, I have had so much criticism over Lacazette, but these last couple of games by him has been fantastic. Like, scratch the goal against Liverpool, he still was phenomenal. Against City, he was fantastic, though. Against the first goal against Ole had 18 passes in the build-up. The touch, turn, and control by him in the build-up was hugely essential to that goal, dog. And I think that these players, we can't lose focus on what's going on. That a lot of these players are still limited, and like you said, these are not Arteta's players. Use the good form that these players have to now get a decent fee for them. There's rumors that like Guendouzi, like that was like a good example of somebody who not bought into what Arteta wants to do. That he wants to leave. Guendouzi is one of the best young prospects in the world in that midfield position. Okay, at 40 million for him, though. I don't even think that he's asking for that much. So, Lacazette showing back what he's good at, though. Get 40, 50 for him. Maitland is bought in the English tax, though. That's 20, 30 million right there.
English players go for big
yeah,
fees.
look, this average fella from Leicester, when that club in Manchester, though, for like record fee.
Yeah.
Man going for any kind of price.
Performance. You get to that.
I will never understand how you will pay $90 million for a man because he's British. And there's players like Koulibaly, I think, who's like 10 times the player for the same price just because he's African.
The man got a goal yesterday, So
It's true. It's true. But so as you know, wow, 15 minutes. As you know, we were up the Arsenal talking because I meant to say this is the Arsenal show. There's a lot of bright stuff going forward. There's a very high chance that we won't be in Europe next year. And that would have some financial implications to it. And yet, I still feel confident in whatever Arteta could do. Arteta is a coach for 6 months now, and he's managed to change Orban's mind about going and to staying. And now it's just close. It'll come close to getting to stay. And I really hope we do. You don't replace 30 goals, Virgil. A player who guarantees you 30 goals a season, Virgil, you don't get rid of him. That's ridiculous. Because we are getting rid of him with 1 year left on his contract and get what, Virgil, like 40 million for him? What you buying for 40 million that gain you 30 goals a season, though?
To get strikers now.
Exactly.
Quality strikers.
Nah, ain't making no sense. To wrap up the FA Cup talk, we're going to go to United versus Chelsea. My opinion, you can tell me what you think. In my opinion, it's the third bad performance from United in a row. In the last 3 games, they won 1, lost 1, draw 1, drew against Southampton, lost to, obviously, Chelsea yesterday, and then even they beat Crystal Palace. And you could see a bit of legs in the team that they're feeling a bit tired because at the end of the day, United's depth isn't that great. Or rather that the step down from the starters isn't that great. I know Greenwood is only like 18, dog, but the step down from him to Daniel James is trash.
That is garbage.
The step down from McTominay from Pogba and Fred, Pogba and Bruno to Fred and McTominay is huge, so there isn't much options for rotation, and they went out there yesterday and in the last 3 games, and you've seen the legs adding up a little bit, you see the little touches being a little loose and thing, and definitely you saw openness in the back, Crystal Palace, who were extremely unlucky not to score. They were ruled out what I thought was a penalty. They were ruled out an offside goal. That was just as marginal as the one we talked about with Vardy, And then against Chelsea, I just think Chelsea was just better than them. I think starting with the back three against Chelsea was a huge mistake. I think only when Martial came on and they switched the back four, they got a little bit more control into the game. But then you saw the limitations of some of their players. Everybody blamed De Gea, and De Gea was at fault for the second goal, but for the first one, dog, that's Maguire and Lindelof, from my opinion. You're supposed to be knowing Giroud is coming in there, dog. Dog, Giroud, I've been watching Arsenal, dog, for too long to know that Giroud has one move, which is to run to the near post. One move. You're supposed to expect that, And then obviously he had the howler for the second, and I think this was just a bit of a reality check for these United fans to know that, yes, there's 100% something special building here. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. There's limitations for players like Martial against defenses that don't want to give them space to operate.
And that right there is the important thing, because you see all they had a good run with those teams here
against in the relegation.
Yeah, those teams is supposed to win. All credit to United, because before they went to show they got the confidence they needed, which is they got that step, but the other steps they need to go against the big boys, they not really look too good in that department. Because look at this Chelsea side. This Chelsea side playing like a team that energy they have. They're playing like a team that want to be in Champions League.
Yeah.
And you're already seeing the little things. Chelsea compared to Manchester United, you'll look at Chelsea and say, okay, if Chelsea just get 1 or 2 players, they look good. United, you're like, okay, these players look good. But then to have players that not showing consistency, and then players you think that, okay, if you all here and we jump in Champions League now and we go against these opponents now, you all go and just get a run, you know.
And largely, you know, Chelsea have looked good since they restarted. Largely, you know, they've won last week against Norwich. At the beginning of the restart, they beat Leicester, beat City, beat Aston Villa in quick succession. You know, they have been looking good. And I think one player that benefit the most since this restart, I think he's one of the higher goal scorers since he started off football again. And again, I just think that it's just a bit of a reality check for them. They'll come out anywhere for sure for the race to top four. I kind of think that this top four race is kind of similar to last year, where it's not a case of who deserves it most, but who screws up the least.
Yes.
Who gets the top four. Because I think Leicester, for example, I think they won't do it. Maybe they fire Brendan Rodgers. So them well within their rights now. You took a 20-point lead, though, to come out the top four. That is fireable.
Nah, but it make it interesting too, you know, because Leicester United play on the final day.
Yeah. And that's
make
make
it
it really
interesting.
interesting, though.
That's gonna be.
Because imagine if they win that game, that'll be enough for them. And well, granted that, you know, Chelsea have 2 hard games left. They have to play Wolves and they have to play Liverpool. You know, that's granted if Chelsea win, but there's some really sticky games left. You know, and now I blame Leicester for what they do. You know why, Virgil? They had the advantage come January. You literally have the advantage. I don't care if you was expecting to sell Maguire or not, dog. In the last couple of days of the transfer window, you got $90 million, dog.
Yeah.
January go on invest. The over-reliance on players like Vardy to score. Sorry, not players like Vardy. Player Vardy. Because other than Vardy, Virgil, who scores on this side? Nobody, right?
Yeah, nobody.
Probably Perez every now and again. One goal, 2 goals.
Yeah, but Perez.
Trash.
Nobody
right?
gonna think of Perez. Nobody thinking about Perez.
And my point is, dog, you had the advantage. You have the selling point to clubs smaller than you and probably equal size than you. Hey, we're pushing for Champions League football. Come be part of this project. Was that good selling line, Virgil? I don't know. Teams that went from the Champions League into the Europa League in January, go to some of their players. A real good example, because a lot of the lack of quality, in my opinion, for Leicester is on the wings, right? Go to, what's this club name? Go to Ajax. Go and get David Neres, dog.
I can pull up real wingers.
He is way better than Albright now. This is not 2016 where Albright. They was running up and down and putting quality crosses, though. You know? And that's what I say. Leicester's to blame. The lack of pushing home the advantage, you know, when you're on top. And, yeah. Have anything else to say?
No, that just wrap up the FA Cup. Well, we know the final coming up. Chelsea against Arsenal. We know the last time Chelsea played Arsenal in the finals.
Yeah, but I had a terrorist in charge of my club.
Yeah, so that why it's a whole new world now. It's two players that
That
won.
man was playing terror as an attacking midfielder.
2 players that won the FA Cup now. Times really change.
For real, though.
Times
Yeah.
really change.
And the last time Arsenal Chelsea meet in the FA Cup, Arsenal won.
Oh yeah. What year was that?
2017.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Now when Ramsey scored you know. Yeah, boy. I miss him, but I wouldn't have him back, you know. Them knees not reliable. Moving on. I think that's kind of it for England. Spurs catch form lately. Just touching that Harry Kane.
That's one other thing too. Because yeah, the Spurs thing, but another thing with England, this relegation battle looking good, you know.
Yeah, but nobody will
This
go down.
relegation battle looking good. Aston Villa right now, they could keep up because I think they're Aston Villa
Nah,
remaining
that dead.
games. Aston Villa remaining
Nah,
games.
that's dead.
Oh yeah, they against Arsenal.
Yeah, forget
It's
that.
Arsenal
That's
and
dead.
West Ham.
Now, it will be the most
But-
Arsenal thing to do, to go from beating the 2 best teams in the league and 2 of the best in Europe
Yeah.
to lose Aston Villa.
But the thing about it, Watford game, Watford playing, Watford have 2 L's. Watford next game is City. And the game after City is Liverpool.
And they fired their manager.
And they fired the manager. What was the point? What was the point of doing that?
I don't know what was the point of that.
Because you sit at, I think it's 31 points right now. No, 34 points. You have 2 teams that are attacking with no manager. You are staying at 34 points. It makes no sense. But hey, right now, everybody focus on relegation.
Yeah.
Focus on that. And hey, Leeds come up, so.
Hey,
good
yeah,
for
boy.
them.
Congrats to Leeds.
to
And
them.
unfortunately, Norwich confirmed that they went down. You know, the irony, though, there's like a lot of players that I think mid to European clubs should look at from Leicester. Not Leicester, from Norwich.
yeah.
Like, I think Pookie will be a real good backup or depth player for Everton.
Remember Pookie
I think
What
Buendia
happened to
should
this
go. I think Buendia should go Leicester 100%. Though.
Men don't understand the story behind Buendia, you know. Norwich got this man. When Norwich got him, that was kind of like a shock, you know.
Yeah.
Because he was
real good.
when he was in La Liga, he was causing it.
Yeah, he is real good.
It have teams that wanted him before Norwich, because Norwich just swooped in at the right time and got him.
Yeah.
Teams like Atletico Madrid been eyeing him up. Atletico Madrid,
You know, me as an Arsenal fan, I would take Godfrey. I think
Dog.
Godfrey real good.
Godfrey.
You don't understand
Buendia.
though, they're full of good players. Look at
They
them
are
got
full
the
of good
last.
players.
I don't know what it is.
Cantwell.
Part of it is that they doesn't score when they're on top. That is a big part of it, and I don't know what it is. But yeah. So moving on. Real Madrid have been crowned champions of La Liga. You know, a very well partnership between them and the referees since the restart. All right, you know, all banter aside, dog. We said, Virgil, at the restart of football, that if we had to choose one team to win it, we said Real Madrid because they have a system in place that the players understand, and the consistency should come up from that. However, though, there really have been a lot of bad calls. But I mean, not like if Barca was like real neck and neck with them, though. Like, you know, Barca was dropping points along the way too. So, you know, on that VAR thing, I really don't want to get into no conspiracy theories, especially with our City fan and who feel like VAR was for Liverpool. But somebody was saying, you know, VAR is like the modern day version of match fixing. That you basically get to decide which decision stand and which change. And you could organize how you want a game to go essentially. Because somebody also pointed out that this year two things happened that one didn't happen in a long time and one nobody thought was going to happen. United all of a sudden resurrected our race for the top four. And they've set the record for most penalties ever in English League history. As well as Liverpool won the title. And I'm not saying where I am on this, because I really don't know. Because, I mean, is match fixing possible? Yeah, it is. It has happened. Is it what is going on? I don't know. But let me think about it, right? All these contentious decisions for Liverpool kind of stopped around like December, January. Around that time is when the title kind of became clear. Is it possible they didn't need it anymore? And all these penalties against big clubs for United, they were deciding games. They were happening when games were 0-0. When the games were in the balance. But I mean, I not saying nothing.
Hey, I just to quote the special one. I shall not speak. If I speak, I should get in trouble. And I'm not going to say anything. I just going to just simply say, respect to that. Well, respect to what we were originally talking about, Real Madrid. Remember we called it from, well, I won't say we called it, but for those that was following along to what we did, the little thing we had with the team spotlights. We talked with Patrick and we brought up Barcelona and we said that's how we feel like from the restart, Madrid getting their players back fit.
Yeah.
They look like the better side. They look like the favorites to win.
Score one goal and win the league, yes.
Exactly. And look at that Madrid team. Because, you know, realistically, Madrid had the quality. Madrid was bad luck in the earlies. They had the injuries, whatnot. Barca was also bad lucky. It just, honestly, this title came down to who can fix the problem better.
Yeah. It's true.
And we saw how both teams did it. Madrid had their youth players. They have a large squad to choose from. And Barca went on board Braithwaite. So we saw how that worked out.
Yeah. In other La Liga news, Granada
Big
qualified
dogs.
for Europa League football in a very world-esque way, in the sense that they were only promoted this year. And what Europa League, that's a phenomenal achievement
Yes.
for any club in any league. And lastly, to touch on, is that Messi come out and rant basically that how this stuff not good enough, we need things to change. And I agree with him, but our club not in a good place
Dog,
to
men
change
don't
it.
understand how hard it is to be Messi right now, you know. Every season, at the end of every season, you giving me a mic to stand up in the middle of a stadium and lie to my fans, and every season, Messi say the exact same thing. The season hasn't been the best. We focus on Champions League football, but don't worry, we bring the Champions League trophy back to the Camp Nou. You know how it is for you to be the captain every minute. You said, I think Messi said this in an interview. You know, he said that how he don't want to keep giving the fans false promises or something. I don't quote on that, but realistically, Messi's saying, yo, and this comes with what we said. Both had problems. It's come down who was better to solve the problems.
Yeah.
Messi can't go out and buy players. Messi can't go out and do these things.
Nobody tell them. No, Messi didn't tell nobody to buy Griezmann.
Messi is frustrated.
We just highlight Griezmann a lot, and it's not that like Griezmann is a bad player. We all know Griezmann is a phenomenal player, right? But like Griezmann is symbolic of all the bad transfers that has been happening. Like up until last year, where United actually had a decent win, Maguire aside. I would have said Barca is the only team that was worse at transfers than United. And United and Barca is the only teams worse than Arsenal. But yeah. Moving on, because we want to get to the whole Balon d'Or talk. In the Serie A, a certain fella called Cristiano Ronaldo became the first player ever to score 50 goals in Italy, in Spain, and in England. I mean, man, bad. Can't fight that.
And just imagine if you had stayed in Portugal longer.
Wow, for real. In other Italian news,
man's a monster.
AC Milan are tearing up the league, and they had to play Atalanta next. I 1000% recommend everybody watch that game, dog. It'll be fantastic.
That's going to be good, though. But I don't want to put no unnecessary pressure.
No pressure on AC. Just the game. The game itself will be great.
Because right now, Milan in a good position, Napoli and Roma are the ones in front. But again, the way how it is with you and Arsenal, that is me and Milan. I'm not going to say anything else, whatever. I just hope the season end well. That's all I want.
And today was Lazio.
Yeah, today's Lazio, Juventus.
Yeah. So basically, Juve win the title. 2 months football wrapped up, and in the friendship, them men doing friendlies. Some real fresh kits dropping though.
Yeah, I know what
real nice kits dropping.
Kids
Do you like your kit? I don't like ours.
I don't like our home kit. I
like our away kit.
Our away kit is the freshest though, because that away kit for sure. Again, that away kit. Inter.
Yes.
Boy.
I like it.
Who's Inter sponsor? Not
Nike, I think.
Since when Nike's come with all these good designs?
I don't know dog.
Nike dropping fresh kits for Inter. Always had fresh kits. And Dortmund with
the
lightning bolts. That real fresh though.
I like Atletico kit too though. I like how that color does look. And I like the kind of classic vibe it had. Something else I feel like, is that it, boy? I think so, I would. So, in case you guys didn't know yet, which you should have, because, we posted on the story, the Balon d'Or got cancelled in a year that had actually some good competition. I would say that out of all the players who I think, I could call about 5 players that I think have a very decent shout at it. All of how I think the Balon d'Or should at least work is that, how I think it should work given the current format is that you need to have like a certain level of good domestic performance coupled with a good run in the Champions League and any other competition that's happening, any other major one. So like if it's a Euros, World Cup, Copa, that kind of thing, right? So this year obviously there's no Euros, that kind of thing, right? The 5 players I think that would have a really good shout fit is obviously Lionel Messi, Robert Lewandowski, Kevin De Bruyne.
Guaranteed.
You just waited for me to say that.
I just reacting to
Karim Benzema.
For sure.
And one of, depending on who end up more influential between Mbappe and Neymar. Because all 5 of those teams, I think, have a good chance. Because, to me, the Champions, they kind of up in the air as to who's really a favorite or not, right? All of those players have had good domestic outings, good domestic seasons. All of those teams that I just called, is it all? Yes, all of those teams I just called with the exception of Man City and Barca have won the league. So there's that. And then in the case of Man City and Barca, Messi and KDB have had Messi actually had a record-breaking season. And KDB still has a chance to break the assist record, but he's not going to. But, yeah. That record going to live forever, boy. What I told you, Virgil, I told you, dog.
It's 2 games remaining.
Yeah. So, the problem with the assist record, Virgil, is that you're dependent on other people.
I know about to say that. Because, oh my God, De Bruyne can be putting in so much passes. And if these men just don't know, just not finishing the ball. I know it'd be annoying too. I could see. I saw it on what game it was, boy. I can't remember the exact game, but I saw it on De Bruyne face. De Bruyne whip a ball in. Somebody messes, I think with Jesus messes it up in the box. Hold on to it. feed the ball to somebody else and they scored. And you're like, my guy, can't you just put the ball? I putting these balls amazing for all
yeah. That's rough. That's rough.
That's a dog.
But yeah. So I think all those teams, all those players have a good stand. Would have had a good standard at toe with it. I generally don't see what was the logic behind it though. Like, okay, I should do it. And this is what I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
That this is not actual football, or this is not regular football conditions. So I get that, right? But at the same time, is our award based on just this year? What I was talking to you about was recording records against people in the past, right? Which I think would have been unfair. But I mean, is this year? Everybody football disrupted. So it is even in a sense now, right? So I think they could allow it. They could allow it now, boy. Because, I think he's the top scorer in Europe. He has a good shot at winning it. I actually think he's the favorite right now. I just realized that in 33 games, Messi has 46 goal contributions, which is ridiculous. So, coupled with whatever he does in the Champions League, there's a high chance that they will get past Napoli, and then they will have to play Bayern. We both know that if they were some miracle they get past Bayern, Messi would have been at the center of that. That is Messi vote right there. KDB was at the center of City, beating Real Madrid in the first leg. They had to play again, obviously, where Benzema could become big. And Benzema scored in that game too. And Benzema scored the header, if I remember right.
No. It's only a scorer.
But Benzema get the assist or something.
Benzema set up. I think Benzema play a part for the play, but with Vinicius too.
Okay, cool. Fair enough, right? But if they do come
back,
back,
but just Benzema right for the season. Benzema has been influential for the title race.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, because remember I had to say this is the first title since Ronaldo left, and Benzema stepped up.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's PSG, who finally beat the Hoodoo to go and beat Dortmund. And then we have both agreed that, PSG is a very good run to the final.
Yeah.
And all these come together would have been a really good race for neutrals. But for the neutrals, this team could have won not just the Champions League, but to win the Balon d'Or. And I just think that was such a dumb decision by the France Football Association to scrap it. And we don't have a good argument.
Yeah, because unless next season they're going to count little pieces of the season, it makes no sense to scrap it.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to do that. Because who knows? Henderson could have been there. You don't know.
Yikes!
Oh, I
don't get me wrong though.
I wouldn't.
Hendo have an real good season. I bring Hendo in my fantasy and he scored. I was like, this is unreal, dog. This is unreal. I just searched it real quick. So the PFA nominees came out today, and so basically from the young players, it was players like Tammy, Trent, Rashford, Grealish, a few others. Apparently, so the age for that is still 23 years old. I find that rubbish. Like big to big dog, it should be like either your breakout season. I don't know how you quantify that, or 21 years old or something. Though I don't know. I can't find. Why am I not finding any nominees? So, however, without looking at the nominees, I think KDB should win the PFA Player of the Year, and I think Trent should win Young Player of the Year.
Trent, yeah.
I think that kind of
because at the top of my head for a young player, the more like you put men like Mount, Tammy, Trent.
The only person that I think I would have given actual competition then for would have been Rashford. But, Rashford hasn't been that good since
he had the little dip. That's the only issue that messed him up there.
And, yeah. And then, KDB was kind of head and shoulders past everybody this year. So, yeah, I think that's about it. But should we stop telling people we're going to go live on Thursday?
That's a discussion.
We've gone live 4 weeks in a row now, and it's only without what.
Hey, that's enough time for them to digest it.
Weird. Thank all you guys on the live out there. Actually was a good bit of people on the live today. Thanks Virgil for always joining back. And you guys, as soon as we always have football news and thing, we'll catch you guys with it. And the season is coming to a close, and as much as it was in regular football, it was a good end. Even though my team might not be in Champions League again. Your team almost get booted out, but all it good. So yeah, stop making it sound sad. It was a good episode. My side beat his side. So
all I gonna say at the end of this is Arsenal fans right now, y'all better go and win this final.
Yeah, that'll be real tragic if we
You'll
lost.
have
So
to do it because the jokes right
this will be
itself.
2 years in a row, dog, that Chelsea decide our European fate, dog.
The jokes right now just writing itself. That's all I'm going to end with.
Yeah. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy.
Daddy, we left Madrid, captain in the field. I love Madrid like Champions League. Every 25